January 30th, 2026, 05:30 a.m. Forget Marina Bay. Forget Orchard Road. The real heart of Singapore is here, on the western edge of the island, Tuas Mega Port. 50 meters above the ground, inside a glass and steel tower, a man is seated. His name is Tan Kok Seng. Most people call him Ah Seng, or in the coffee shops of Batam, they call him Ah Seng. He is a senior crane operator, and for the next 12 hours, the rhythm of this nation passes through his hands. Below him, 23 meters of draft, enough to swallow a skyscraper. 26 kilometers of deep water berth, enough to bend global trade routes. Above him, algorithms. Around him, machines that do not sleep. In front of him, the Bay Plan glows, red for dangerous goods, blue for reefers, yellow for general cargo. A digital Tetris worth billions of dollars. Ah Seng looks out at the fairway. He doesn't just see ships, he sees the story of the world. 3 players, 3 destinies. First, the giant, queuing for berth P1, Maersk EE. Light blue hull, 400 meters long, a floating city. Ah Seng knows the data. MSC has bigger ones now, the MSC Arena, 24,000 TEU. But the Maersk is still the Leviathan, the old king of the West. When she passes, the waves make the fishing boats in Bottom shake. She is arrogant, calm. She knows she is a priority. Second, the Dragon, right behind the giant, flanked by 4 tugboats. Dark red hull, big letters, COSCO shipping. The flag snaps in the wind, red with 5 yellow stars. Ah Seng tightens his grip on the joystick. This is the Challenger. They don't just carry cargo, they carry ambition. They built Shanghai port in 3 years. They turn islands into automated terminals. Ah Seng respects the giant, but he fears the dragon. And third, the Lilliput looked directly beneath Ah Seng's feet, the ship he is unloading right now. MV Sinar Solo, flag Indonesia, red and white, next to the Maersk and COSCO. Ha, like a mouse next to elephants. But Ah Seng doesn't laugh anymore, because he sees the change. This is not the wooden, rusty 500 DWT boat of the past. This is a modern container feeder, 2,500 TEU, wide beam, deep draft, fresh paint, fast radar, the crew on deck wearing high-vis vests and standard helmets. No more shouting, everyone's on radio. They don't just carry crackers anymore. They carry assembled cars from Cikarang, nickel batteries from Morowali. Ah Seng looks at the manifest. This Lilliput is one of the 41.12 million TEU that passed through Singapore last year. Without this Lilliput feeding them, the giant and the dragon would starve. One day, maybe he won't need to stop here to feed Ah Seng anymore. Maybe he will sail directly to Europe, challenging the Maersk. Ah Seng smiles thinly, very thinly. But today, he still needs me, and I still need him. We moved 41.12 million boxes last year, a new record. We can't afford to stop. So let's work. Crane 4 engages. Steel rises. Ah Seng moves containers with surgical precision, but the Strait does not begin with containers. Western textbooks love their pirates, Blackbeard, Hayreddin Barbarossa, romantic sails, dramatic portraits. Cute children's stories compared to what lived in these waters. The Lanun, Malay sea raiders. They did not sail floating castles, they used prows, narrow, fast, silent. They did not just steal cargo, they erased crews. Before Singapore, before cranes, before flags and free trade agreements, this strait belonged to men who did not ask permission. And the real ports were not here. They were west, Sabang, Kutara Raja, Aceh. This island was not a hub, it was a swamp. Then, in 1511, a trapped strategist understood the geometry. Afonso de Albuquerque, not a dreamer, not a merchant, a paranoid realist. He looked at the map and saw the truth. North Aceh and Samudra Pasai, south Johor, east Brunei, giants. He was squeezed between powers that could swallow him whole, so he did not build beauty, he built fear. Ah Fonsama, stone walls facing the sea, and mounted on those walls cannons. The largest among them carried a name, Si Jagur, the fist facing to the sea. Not decoration, not vanity, survival. Without Portuguese gunpowder, without cannons pointed at the strait, this place would not have become a trade hub. It would have remained a mosquito-infested hiding place for the Lanun. Singapore was not born from vision, it was born from fear, fear of being swallowed by giants. And that fear never left, it industrialized. Ah Seng scrolls through the news during his break, February 2026, Sarong, a seminar. Government officials sit at long tables. They speak about upgrading ports, international status, regional revenue, logistics engines. Cracked asphalt, old trucks, no booking systems, overloaded vehicles grinding roads into dust, hands outstretched at every checkpoint. On paper, everything moves. On the ground, nothing does. This is the variable that breaks equations. Ports do not fail because of geography. They fail because systems choke themselves. The name changes, the behavior does not. The reports continue north, 2 small islands, Mankir Besar, Mankir Kecil. A dispute between governors, while foreign capital waits offshore. The giant owns expensive running shoes, but keeps tying its laces together. When the race begins, it falls. Not because it is weak, but because it cannot stop arguing with itself. Across the water, another idea refuses to die. The shortcut fantasy, the KRI Canal. A line on maps for a century, still only ink. Mountains, fault lines, hundreds of billions of dollars, no clear return. Free passage through Malacca costs nothing, digging through rock costs everything, and beneath the soil, unresolved fire. So the dream changes shape. Now it's called a land bridge, ports on both sides, rail in between. No canal, no incision, safer, slower, acceptable. Ah Seng's face tightens, then relaxes. The strait remains crowded. Shift over. The crane powers down. Steel rests. Ah Seng descends from the tower, boots echoing on metal stairs. Floodlights shimmer against the dark water of the strait. At the edge of the shipping lane, something moves differently. Not commercial, not hurried. A gray hull. Number 359, KRI Usman Harun. Ah Seng stops. In 1965, 2 Indonesian Marines planted a bomb on Orchard Road, executed in Singapore, remembered as heroes in Jakarta. Years later, something bitter happened. Under the eyes of Indonesia's President Suharto, Singapore's supreme leader Lee Kuan Yew poured melati flowers on their grave. A gesture of reconciliation, diplomatic, necessary, and deeply bitter. History recorded it as statesmanship, but statesmanship is often pain, carefully folded into protocol. Decades later, their names sail again, not on paper, not in speeches, on steel. This ship does not threaten, it patrols in front of us, it reminds. A message without radio transmission, a sentence written in displacement and tonnage. We may argue over islands, we may fight over ODOL trucks, we may suffocate inside our own bureaucracy, but we do not forget, and we have steel. The frigate moves calmly through the water, no sirens, no warnings, no deviation, just presence. At that moment, efficiency collapses. All of Ah Seng's earlier cynicism evaporates. The jokes about Omprengan ports, the smug calculations about land bridges and stalled canals, the belief that logistics alone decides history. They dissolve, because trade is numbers, but sovereignty is memory. Ah Seng looks away. He swallows something old, something unresolved. He goes home to his HDB flat. He is the watchman of the Strait. And tonight, more clearly than ever before, he understands one truth. The giant is watching the Strait back. I'm Lalamulu. Check your cargo. See you on the next shift.